What's up, everyone? James Lynch here. I'm going to be running down the fights I want to see this year in the Octagon. But before I do that, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. And also, a quick word from our sponsor. It's that time of year again where you're making your New Year's resolutions, and I'm sure some of you watching this video are looking to break some bad habits, and luckily, my sponsor Fume is here to help. Fume is a natural diffusive device that uses plants and behavioral science to help you trade out your negative habit for a positive one. Fume is not a vape, it's a non-electric device designed to transform your negative habits. Instead of pods filled with potentially harmful chemicals like a vape, Fume uses core-infused plants like peppermint and cinnamon for delicious natural flavors. Fume's new version 2.0 model is snappy and tactile. With the adjustable airflow dial and magnetic end cap, your fingers will always have something to do. I gave this to my cousin Craig recently and he absolutely loves it. Head over to tryfume.com/Lynch and get 10% off your order, or use the QR code on the screen, it'll work as well. And make sure you take advantage of this offer on their Journey Pack. The Journey Pack comes with 3 unique flavors, including the new version 2 Fume to help you kickstart your positive habits. That's tryfum.com. Use code Lynch to save an additional 10% off your order today. All right, so just like the Dark Horse video, the UFC Champs video, I'm going to go through each division and tell you a fight that I'd like to see take place, and also tell you about the likelihood I think of that fight potentially happening, and I'll kind of explain how I think that fight could end up happening. So let's start with heavyweight. We don't have a champ right now. I did want to see John Jones and Francis Ngannou. That's not going to happen. We've got John Jones and Cyril Gane coming up on March 4th. But I do want to see a fight with John Jones this year, and there's an opponent I'd like to see him face. I'm going to explain why. Let's just have a quick look at John there. 26-1 record, 35 years old. Like I mentioned, going to be fighting at UFC 285. I'd like to see him fight Curtis Blaydes. And I know Blaydes is, there's, rumblings about him fighting Sergey Pavlovich, but the reason I want to see this fight is the wrestling, right? Blaydes is, I think, the best wrestler in the weight class. I want to see if him and Jones, how that would go toe to toe. And I also feel like Curtis Blaydes deserves a big fight like this. This is a guy who's been grinding away at the division. He's had some tough losses to Ngannou and Derek Lewis, but I really want to see this fight take place at some point this year. It could potentially happen if Jones beats Cyril Gane and Curtis Blaydes beats Sergey Pavlovich. I think it's entirely possible. I know Stipe Miocic is in the mix, but that's a fight I would love to see, John Jones and Cyril Gane. Okay, let's start with let's go to the light heavyweight division. They got to update this. Jamal Hill is the new champ at the time of recording this. This fight also involves Jamal Hill. I think this is kind of an obvious one, but got to mention it anyway. So the current champ, Jamal Hill, who do I want to see him fight at some point? I'd like to see him fight Yuri Prochazka. I don't think this whole fight will happen next. I don't know if Yuri's going to be able to come back in time because he's still got that shoulder injury. So I would imagine Jamal Hill's going to want to have a title defense before facing Yuri Prochazka. And I think the likely choice is Magomed Ankalaev. Now, that fight could go either way. I'm not going to make a pick here on that one between Hill and Ankalaev. I know people feel strongly on both sides of the coin here. So I think it could happen again if Hill's able to emerge victorious. He would fight Yuri, and just imagine a Jamal Hill and Yuri Prochazka fight. Two guys that are, relatively young, 30 and 31. Both guys have good knockout power. Both guys have, a different style for the weight class. That is a fight for sure I would love to see happen this year in the Octagon for the UFC. Okay, let's get to the middleweight division. We've got Alex Pereira as the current champ at the time of recording this. Alex Pereira does not have any fights booked. So let's talk with him. And 7-1 record. Again, we got to see how he's going to be tested here. A fight that I really hope takes place and we see this, and it might happen next. It might not. I mean, we'll see. But I want to see him fight Robert Whittaker. Whittaker lost his opponent in Paulo Costa. It could potentially happen. I have a feeling they're going to try and book the fight between Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira again. But I just want to see how Rob would do against him. Just a different style. Would he have the same amount of success that Adesanya did before the punch? Can Rob not get knocked out by Pereira? We'll see. Whittaker has been knocked out only one time at middleweight, and that was against Israel Adesanya. So I think just from like a durability perspective and the fact that Whittaker's improved so much, I would love to see him fight Alex Pereira. So again, the likelihood of this, if I had to give a percentage, I'll go 40%. I don't know if it'll happen. I don't know if the stars will align per se, but I want to see it. So that's a big fight I would like to see. As a consolation pick for this division, I'm going to mention these. I'm not going to bring all the info and all that, but a fight that kind of went through my mind that maybe could happen this year. How about Bo Nickel and Marvin Vettori? Now, here's how we would get there. Bo Nickel beats Jamie Pickett, then maybe he beats another ranked opponent and he gets a ton of hype. He starts getting that Khamzat Chimaev hype. Then maybe he fights like a Vettori who, maybe Vettori beats Dolidze. Maybe he loses against Dolidze. I don't know. But can you just imagine the buildup for a fight between Marvin Vettori and Bo Nickel? I would love to see that fight. So that's another sort of consolation one I would love to see if that could take place. I don't know if it will happen this year. The likelihood of that is probably like 30%, but that's another one I wanted to mention for the middleweight division. Bo Nickel, Marvin Vettori. I don't know. It's a random fight, but I would love to see that fight take place as well. Okay, next division we're going to look at here is welterweight. We got Leon Edwards as the current champ, and Edwards is going to be defending his title at UFC 286 against Kamaru Usman. I haven't done an early look on this yet, but I will. Spoiler alert, I think Kamaru Usman beats Leon Edwards in their trilogy fight. And there is a fight I want to see with Kamaru Usman, and it's right here. There you go, 20-2 record. I think he'll win the title, and his first title defense, I think it should be against Khamzat Chimaev. Now, the big question right now at the time of recording this is, Khamzat Chimaev going to stay at 170, or is he going to move up to 185? We'll have to see. If he stays at 170, I just want to see this fight just to see how it plays out. I'm very intrigued by this. Chimaev getting the win over Gilbert Burns, forget about the Holland fight. That was kind of a one-off, but the Gilbert Burns fight showed that this guy is at the top of the welterweight division. And how would he do against a really good wrestler in Usman, as Usman's getting older, as he's coming out of knockout loss? I'm very intrigued by that. So the number one fight I want to see at welterweight is Khamzat Chimaev and Kamaru Usman, just from a skill standpoint, and seeing how that one would play out. Very, very, very interesting fight if that does end up taking place. Okay, let's move down. I know we're going here pretty quickly, but that's the way I want to do it. Lightweight. Got Islam Makhachev as the champ. Really excited about that one and sort of seeing what takes place there. First fighter at lightweight I'd like to see compete is Mateusz Gamrot. Love watching this guy fight. Him and Arman Tsarukyan, one of my favorite fights of last year. Love to see that one take place. And his opponent is someone that we all like watching fight. This guy's fun to watch. How about Michael Chandler? What a fight that would be. Chandler, Gamrot. There's a lot of stuff that could be unpacked here. Both are good wrestlers. Both have good stand-up. Good. I'd say Chandler's got a bit of an edge in power there, but I want to see this fight. And then add in the fact these guys are at two rival gyms. You got Gamrot who's at ATT. You got Chandler who's at Killcliff. Who wouldn't love to see this fight? And this hopefully will start a trend of what we're already seeing with the matchmaking with Rafael Fiziev and Justin Gaethje, is these Chandlers and Poiriers and these guys starting to fight the up-and-comers. To me, Gamrot is still an up-and-comer. I would love to see a Gamrot and Michael Chandler fight take place. As a consolation for my pick at lightweight, I would also love to see Islam Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan have a rematch this year. I don't know if it'll happen. A lot of stuff, a lot of moving pieces and all that. But yeah, I would put an Islam and Arman rematch this year at probably like 30%, because I think Arman needs a couple fights to get that rematch with Islam. I do think Islam beats Volkanovski, by the way. But getting back to Gamrot and Chandler, the likelihood of this happening, I think it's like 80%. I could see it happening, unless Chandler has his sights set on a bigger name. Then maybe that 20% is the reason why it doesn't happen. But I don't see why that fight couldn't take place between Gamrot and Chandler. I'd love to see it. Okay, let's move along to the featherweight division. Of course, Alex Volkanovski still the champion. And a fight that I don't know if it'll take place. We'd have to get a few things to work out here. But the first fighter I would like to see take a fight, and he's actually going to be fighting for the interim featherweight title, and that is Yair Rodriguez. El Pantera, 14-3 record. Like I mentioned, going to be fighting Josh Emmett next month at UFC 284. A fight that I just think is awesome. And these guys kind of even look alike a little bit, in terms of the hairstyle and everything. How about him and Ilia Topuria? How much of a fun fight would that be? These are two very interesting personalities, two guys who have very unique styles. And just the striking battle between these two would be amazing. Topuria doesn't have an opponent booked. I mentioned Rodriguez does. Maybe if Topuria ends up fighting like an Arnold Allen or something, maybe he gets... Rodriguez, I think he's going to beat Josh Emmett. So then he would probably fight Volkanovski. I think Volkanovski would then beat Rodriguez. And then maybe if Topuria gets a fight like against Arnold Allen or somewhere else, he wins. Then you could do Rodriguez and Ilia Topuria. So that would be the fight I would like to see this year. Yair Rodriguez, Ilia Topuria in the featherweight division. That would just be an absolute banger. The percentage of it happening, again, maybe 40-50% around there. Some moving pieces would have to happen, but I really hope that does take place. Okay, next fight we're going to look at here is in the bantamweight division. We got Aljamain Sterling as a champ. We know he's sidelined right now due to that bicep injury. Again, a fight that is not going to be for a title. This is just an interesting chess match type of fight to me that I would want to see. And I don't know if it'll happen. There's a lot of moving pieces that would need to take place, but the first fighter would be Dana White's favorite fighter. Of course, that's with sarcasm. Merab Dvalishvili, who we know will be fighting Piotr Yan on March 11th. So that's the first fighter in that, is Merab Dvalishvili. I want to see him fight Umar Nurmagomedov. I think that fight would be great. You got Umar is undefeated. He's got a relentless pace. He's a very exciting guy in the weight class, and Merab is just an absolute machine as well. Now, does Merab beat Piotr Jan? I don't know. I think that's a very close fight. But either way, I think Umar is right on the cusp there. You know, I mentioned him as one of my dark horses this year in that video. Umar might be in title contention by the end of this year. We'll see. The way he's beating his opponents is very impressive. But just think from a style perspective, Umar and Merab, how cool would that fight be? A lot on the line there. Georgia versus, Dagestan. Just sign me up. I would love to see that fight between Umar and Merab Dvalishvili as far as a cool matchup that could take place in the Bantamweight division. Okay, let's keep it going here. We're going to go to the women's Flyweight division. So we'll go down here. Valentina Shevchenko, of course, is the champion. Looks like she's going to be fighting Alexa Grasso next. At the time of recording this, I don't know if that's 100% confirmed yet, or I believe it is actually. Either way, it doesn't matter. She's got another fight booked. I think she probably beats Alexa Grasso in her next fight. But someone who could, well, here's Valentina. Let's talk about her first. 23-3 record. Someone who I mentioned is another dark horse this year, and because of her success in her career so far, don't be surprised if she potentially gets a title shot this year too, and that is Tatiana Suarez. Can you imagine Tatiana and Valentina fighting each other? The wrestling, even just the cardio, the pace, all that stuff. That is a fun fight at Flyweight, and that's probably one of the biggest names in the weight class that could fight Valentina right now. You know, you've got some other names, right? Manon Fior. You've got this Aaron Blanchfield and Talia Santos fight, but Tatiana Suarez, Valentina Shevchenko, how cool would that fight be at Flyweight? Again, Suarez, dominated the former strawweight champion Carla Esparza not that long ago. The question is she healthy? That's the big question mark here. So the percentage for this will be even lower just because of the fact that I don't know if she's 100% healthy. I'm expecting her to win her next fight against Montana De La Rosa, but again, we'll have to see what happens. But Tatiana Suarez, Valentina Shevchenko is the number one fight I want to see at women's Flyweight. Now, getting to the men, we have the new champion, Brandon Moreno. They got to update this at the time of recording this. A fight that's kind of created a bit of beef online, and I think it would just be a fun fight in general. First fighter we're going to mention is Muhammad Mokaev, who does have a fight booked. He's going to be taking on this opponent here, Filiao, 14-2 record coming up on UFC 286. But how about a fight against this guy? Does this not be awesome? Amir Al-Bazzi, the Prince. This is another guy who's been on a bit of a roll here. There's a bit of bad blood on social media. I know you'd be sort of killing off a prospect this way, but I just want to see this fight, man. I think the buildup would be great. I think they're both extremely skilled fighters, and I just think this is a fun fight, man. The buildup for this would be awesome. Two really big fan bases as well. Let's put this one together. I think this is a fight that can make sense if they're trying to get a couple new contenders and they want to fast track them. The winner of this fight would be a contender absolutely in that weight class if they're able to put it together. So Amir Al-Bazzi, Muhammad Mokaev, those are two fighters I want to see take on each other. And the last one, this I would put it like a 90% rate of it end up happening. We're going to start with Weili Zhang, the new strawweight champ or semi-new strawweight champ, 23-3 record. I got to see her fight Amanda Lemos. The power with Lemos is just something to behold. Can Weili Zhang take a shot from her? We'll see. Really excited if that fight takes place. I think it's going to happen, but when you're looking at strawweight, this has got to be at the top of my list. Weili Zhang, Amanda Lemos. Make it happen. I don't know when it'll happen, but it's most likely going to happen because I don't know who else they could put fighting Weili Zhang at this point, but that is a fight I definitely would like to see. So I'm going to know what you guys think in the comment section below. I wanted to do this video earlier, but I had the whole hacking situation last week, so kind of got put to the back burner. But let me know some fights that you want to see. Do you agree with some of these fights? Do you think there's other fights to be made? Let me know in the comments. I want to be as interactive as possible about this topic. And if there's any other prediction videos you guys want me to do, just let me know. More than happy to listen to your feedback. Again, follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Lynch on Sports. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Lynch on Sports. Hit that like button and hit that notification bell. I'm James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.